everyone. Welcome back to the Miraculous Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Joy, and we believe in empowering people through storytelling and conversations. This week, we have on an amazing guest who is a mom, an inventor, who came up with an amazing product to help babies sleep better at night. I don't know about you, but I could use some of that in my life. Jovi is cutting another tooth right now. I saw one finally cut through this last week. I see the whites of two others, and she is just not sleeping well, and it has been rough. The only way that we are managing right now is through co-sleeping, because in the middle of the night, she goes down at the beginning of the night really easy. And then once she wakes up, she will not let us put her back down. For a while, my husband could get her back to sleep, and that was super helpful because he would just go in, be able to get her back down, and now she is just clinging on. And I know she just has to be so uncomfortable with her teeth coming in. She's growing like crazy. She grew 2 inches in a month. She's from 8 months to 9 months. She grew 2 inches, and she just keeps growing through all of her clothes. And so I know that she's going through so much. She's trying to walk. She's standing independently, and there's just all these milestones going on. So I know she needs us to be there for her. And when she won't let us put her down in the middle of the night, I can't just rock her all night long. So she usually ends up in bed with us practicing safe co-sleeping. And that's the only way that we are able to get some sleep right now is just surviving through that. And it is hard because I feel like I get stuck in a certain position in order to safe sleep with her. So I'm kind of stuck in one position. My hip will start to go numb. My arm's uncomfortable. So I don't always sleep the best, but at least I'm getting some sleep. And last night was rough because she literally nursed the entire night, the entire night. And yesterday she had bit my nipples, both of them. And so my nipple was bruised, and she was nursing all night on my bruised nipple. And I just kept reminding myself that this is a season, that it's a phase, that she's going to get through it. We're going to get through it. And I want people to know out there too, that when it comes to sleeping and your children, you have to figure out what's best for you. It's definitely not a one size fits all. And I think that that's a hard thing, is because as new moms, you're sold so much information oh, you're doing it wrong. If your kid's not sleeping through the night, you're not doing it right. When normal infant sleeping, normal baby sleeping, is kids waking up. It's actually really normal for them to wake up for the first couple years of life. They've done a lot of scientific studies on that, and that's normal. And I feel a lot of times we're not told what's normal. So even for me, I'm why is she waking up so much? There has what's going on? Am I doing something wrong? And I just listed off all the reasons why she is, right? This growth spurt, the teething, the everything, trying to walk. And at 10 months, they go through a peak. That's when their peak separation anxiety starts up. And we've definitely dealt with some of that with her. And so it's normal for your baby to wake up. And I want you to know that you're not alone, know that some babies sleep better than others, that there isn't a one size fits all, that there is safe co-sleeping, safe bed sharing. And I've done so much research on this, and I'm excited to have on a holistic sleep coach to talk about that, because we've done interviews with sleep consultants that do sleep training and things like that. So I kind of want to have the other approach on here as well, because there's so much misinformation out there. Even when you look at the studies of things that have happened or gone wrong, a lot of them involve parents who were intoxicated or using drug use and not practicing safe co-sleeping. And so there's just a lot of fear that comes out, and then it scares parents into falling asleep in a rocking chair with your baby, which is way more dangerous than if you were provided with the right information of being able to safely bring your baby into bed with you. We actually co-slept for probably when Jovi was like a month old till she was like 3 months old. Because again, we were just kind of in that survival and she wasn't sleeping great. Then around 4 months, she moved into her crib in her room and did awesome. And she hasn't co-slept with us since until 10 months. So she slept about 6 months in her crib just fine. And then, crap hit the fan this last month. And we've just kind of been stretched to new parenting limits of what are we doing? Is this working? How, like just trying different remedies for her teeth, trying some different homeopathic stuff to help sleep. And honestly, I've tried it all and nothing works. So anything from baby Tylenol or whatever it is to homeopathic stuff. So it did work when she was teething the first time. It helped a lot. This time has just been like a whole new world of trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. And basically nothing works. So we're just going with it. We're going with it. We know that she must be super uncomfortable. She must be going through a lot. And so we're just trying to be there for her, to support her, to nurture her, and help her through. The nice thing is she naps really well. So her first morning nap, like I just put her down a little bit ago, she goes down really easy, sleeps for a couple hours, and naps like a champ. It's just the nights that are rough. So it's nice when her naps are great because then I feel like I'm able to get a few things done during the day, or if I'm really tired, I can nap for a little bit and just kind of giving myself grace that like, yeah, there's laundry that needs to be put away. There's dinner that needs to be prepped, but I also need to close my eyes for a little bit and knowing that all those things are still going to be there when I wake up and they might sit there for a couple of days. The laundry's been on my couch for a few days now. So I'm actually going to finally put that away today. I have a little more energy to do that. So this whole rant is to fill you guys in on what's going on in our lives and to let you know that you're not alone. Like if your baby's sleeping amazingly, that's awesome for you. If you're struggling, I'm in it with you. And then today we're going to talk with Tara, who invented a baby weighted blanket that really helped her kids sleep. So maybe that's a tool that you're able to try and use that will help you out. All right, we're going to go ahead and start this interview. All right, everyone. I have Tara Williams here from Dreamland Baby, and I'm really excited to talk to her because, first of all, she's just awesome in creating this amazing product, and I'm always curious talking to innovators because sometimes I feel like I might have a good idea, but I have zero idea of like where to start. And also just that she is changing the game in the sleep industry. So I'm really excited for her to share the product that she created and how she did it all. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
So tell us about, everything, about Dreamland Baby and how you came up with the idea and then how you got this amazing product out there.
Yeah. So I have 4 kids and my baby was still waking up every hour and a half when he was 6 months old. So like a newborn, we were tired and we had tried everything. We had bought everything. And one night, my husband and I were sitting on the couch. I have a really heavy throw blanket and I laid it on him just to keep him cozy. And I noticed he immediately calmed down. And it was in that moment, a light bulb went off in my head. And I thought, he needs a weighted blanket. But I imagined a weighted blanket that he could wear, like a sleep sack, exactly what our product is now. And so I literally jumped up to my husband. I know what he needs, got online, went to Google, and I was shocked that the product didn't come up. And so I'm like, well, it's got to be on Amazon. So I looked on Amazon, nothing. There were loose weighted blankets, but nothing in a wearable, safe fashion like the one we have. And that's what I was looking for. So not giving up, I called my mother-in-law. She sews, and I told her about this idea. And I talk fast anyways, but at this like manic pace, I was like, this is the product in this guy. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're so sleep deprived. And I said, no, like, will you please make it for me? And she said, no problem. So we got it back a couple weeks later. And the first night he wore it, he slept for 12 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So it was just absolutely, yes, incredible sleep transformation to the point where I thought, can this really be true? But next night, same thing. And he's 3 now. So we have been sleeping through the night for 2.5 years. So that was the, beginning of our journey.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So I'm interviewing you at a time where last night was our roughest sleeping night yet so far. And she's 9 months and she, she's hasn't been a horrible sleeper. Like she sleeps pretty well. She wakes up like 2 times a night, but usually just nurses and goes right back to sleep. And then this last week, she's like teething and just like all this stuff and like doesn't want us to put her down. And I am at my like wit's end right now. I'm like such a hot mess today. I was just talking to my husband on the phone before our interview and I'm like, I feel like I cannot function today. Like if I close my eyes, I will pass out because this is like day 3 of that. And so I'm like, I'm excited to interview Tara and talk to her. And I might have to get one of these weighted blankets and try it out.
And you can think about that was me, but for 6 months.
Oh, that sounds so hard. Oh my gosh.
It was terrible. And, I look back on that time and I think I was a bad mom. I was a bad wife. I was a bad friend. I was just a shell of myself. And it was a really sad kind of dark period for me and my whole family. Because, as the mom, when you're not happy, it stems out and orbits to everyone. And with my first 3, the first 6 months, like I'm a baby person, were some of my happiest memories, just like cuddling them and nursing them. And I loved that time. Mm-hmm. So it was just like a really sad time for me. And, when I started telling people about the product, more just like friends, when you're talking about being a hot mess, like I was a hot mess. And then all of a sudden now I'm showing up at school pickup, put together. I got makeup on, like I'm ready to go to the gym. I'm feeling good. And those vibes emulate. People are like, what's going on with you? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm sleeping through the night. I made this product. And everyone's like, wait, what? You like made a product? I'm like, yeah, let me tell you about it. But as soon as I started sharing it, immediately people said, oh my gosh, could your mother-in-law make one for me or my sister? Could I give it as a gift? Like everyone right away, it was like 10 out of 10 people thought it was such a cool idea and wanted one and thought it would help their babies. So I knew for me like that this is something not only that could help me, but I thought we can help, thousands, hundreds of thousands of families not be in that sad place where I was and, really be able to enjoy those first 6 months to even, our sleep cycles go up to 24 months right now. And we're coming out with one that's going up to 36 months because we have parents who just keep wanting to buy the next size up. So like if we can help bring that joy to them through sleep is such an essential thing. It's just, I feel so blessed that I get to have this as my job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Like I said, I think before we started the podcast, you created this product that obviously there was a need for, right? Like you started talking about it and everyone's like, wait a second. and sleep, like you said, it's one of those essential things and sleep just like speaks to new parents because they're like, wait, you have something that my baby might sleep more and I might sleep more. Sign me up for that because we haven't tried a weighted, she sleeps in like a regular sleep sack. We haven't tried a weighted thing. And I'm like, right now she's just being so clingy. So maybe that's something that could help.
Well, I will send you one for sure. 100%. But we are the only one that has an even distribution of weight. So like it's just Dreamland Baby. So we mirrored ours after adult weighted blankets. So weighted blankets are super popular for adults, kids, even dogs. So it was really odd to me that the baby space, which is such an obvious market for this product, nobody had created a product to fill that, huge gap. And they're like sleep sacks. So, they're safe. They can't migrate to the baby's face, 10% or less body weight. So your baby can sit, stand, rollover, like anything they could do in a non-weighted sleep sack. It's just that little extra bit of weight. I'm so excited for you to try it because we have so many parents that call or, text, they email, we have all kinds of communications now, but leave, reviews or DM us and say things like, you've changed my life. Like I'm sleeping again, so I'm excited to send one to you and see how it works.
Sleeping again sounds so nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know I was recording a couple podcasts today and I'm like, I can't put myself together. Like it's just not going to happen today, but I mean, nobody sees the video. So I'm like, it's fine. I'm interviewing other moms. They get it.
We all get it. We've all been there.
Mm-hmm, for sure. All right. We're going to take a quick break from this episode. I know all of the moms out there listening knows what it feels like to have that sleep deprivation. And I know we're talking about sleep a little bit this episode. And I've shared that Joey's not really sleeping right now. And I realized that when she doesn't sleep well, it affects my mental health and brings up so much more things in my life that I need to work on. And that is why I'm so grateful for BetterHelp. They are an amazing company and they make it convenient for you. It's affordable. They're always professional. You can match with your counselor. It's always easy to switch if you want to. You get to communicate in a way that makes sense for you. So whether you want to do a face-to-face over Zoom or FaceTime, you can do that, or sending a text message, email, however you feel comfortable communicating, you can. And I think it's just so important to notice those things in your life that come up. I feel like parenthood is a time that's very challenging, and sometimes you have to learn how to re-parent yourself. And taking control of your mental health is so important so that you break those patterns and you're not passing them on to your kids, that you're not taking them out on your kids, and just realizing what triggers belong to you and what things are really your stuff coming up, because that just, like I said, happens so much in parenthood. And BetterHelp is just, they've made it such an amazing community to be able to facilitate great therapeutic matches and make it affordable, convenient for you no matter what you are going through. And we want to offer you a discount to help you live your best life today. And as a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/mamas. And you can join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health. In fact, there's so many people using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. So again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/mamas. So how did you get this product, I guess, on, obviously you saw, people were like, wait, can your mother-in-law sew me one? All this stuff. So how did you start to market it and actually grow it as a business?
It was really difficult at first because I didn't know who to turn to make more than one. And these are super labor intensive. Even now that we're in, a huge factory and have a huge team of people doing them, the beads still have to go in the pocket by hand. So one by one. So each of the sleep sacks takes about 2 hours to make. And this is, again, on a factory level. So when my mother-in-law, it took her about 15 hours to make.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So she was like, there's no way. I mean, I'm not she's like, I will make this for you one time and that's it. So I looked around and, oh my gosh, this is so funny. I haven't thought about this in such a long time, but I went to Joann Fabric, all the Joann Fabrics by me. And there's a bulletin board in the back where people put their, this is such a funny story. I don't think I've ever shared this. They put their cards. And so I went to all the Joann, drove 2 hours to get to every single one. And I took the cards that said, it's they offer a service. Anybody that had a sewing service, I called them and I said, here's my idea. Can you make this for me? And most people were like, no, it's not my skill set, or I don't have I don't have the time, or I don't have the type of sewing machine. And I got a couple people who said yes. And then I brought the prototypes to them and they were like, oh no, this is going to take way too long. And so finally one person agreed, and she had a mini, when I say factory, it was very small, but it was more than just her. It was a few people. And I ordered a batch of 10 and they were $150 each. So at the time it was like all of my money to start the company. So I paid $1,500 for them, and I brought them around and I had people try them. And so all the people who had said like, I have this atrocious sleeper, my sister's baby's up all night. I brought it to like the worst of the worst. And 9 out of 10 of those babies had fantastic results, either the first night like we did or within a week, where their sleep was just totally turned around. And so after that, I was like, oh my gosh, like this can help everybody. Like if we can help 90% of families, like this is incredible. So from there, then I realized I need to go on like a factory level, because if I paid $150 to them, they retail for $79 right now. It's just not possible. So I started calling like all these different factories and just like going online and like literally calling, and everybody was like, no. And I'd say, well, do you know anybody who you think? And then some gave me contact. So I SCORE, which is the Small Business Association of America, and it's free mentoring, which is incredible for anyone starting a business. Go to SCORE. They have people who are volunteers in everything, like from, designers to like website developers to attorneys. I mean, truly anything. They can't do the work for you, but they can be a mentor for you. So I found somebody who did juvenile importing, which is really, really specific because there's so many regulations and requirements and compliance and testing, and it all has to be done in like certified factories. So there's a lot to it. And he connected me to my first factory abroad. And that's when we were able to make them then at scale. So it was such a journey to get there though. And then simultaneously, I was doing all the other stuff here in the US, like getting all the safety testing, partnering with pediatricians and NICU nurses and sleep consultants and pulmonologists. My background is actually really specific. I worked in the medical device space, bringing novel medical devices to market. So I was really familiar in the hospital space. And so I took the approach with this product as like, it needs an FDA clearance. It's going to be implanted in somebody's body, which is so over the top of what it is. It's a garment that a baby wears. Mm-hmm. But I really, really dug into like the medical side. So I had meetings at like Stanford and UCSF, just to make sure all the safety stuff was in line. So all of that was kind of happening at the same time, which culminated in us launching a Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm. And then you went on Shark Tank with all of this.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
That's so wild. How was that experience?
Oh man. I mean, when I think about it, there's a dreamlike quality to it. I'm like, I was on an ABC lot in a trailer, getting my hair and makeup done to go on a TV show and walk through those doors and present myself to, Mark Cuban and Mr. Wonderful, like surreal. It was really, really fun. It was just, it was once in a lifetime kind of a surreal experience. But we did make a deal with Lori, and she is my dream shark. So it couldn't have ended better.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Wow. That's awesome. I mean, and I like everything that you were describing. So, I mean, people listening who have an amazing idea of something that they want to bring to market, I feel like so many people just kind of let the dreams die with them because it is hard work. They're like, oh, I have this idea, but I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. And like, you just have to start and you just have to do. And it's not like you don't just like, I mean, for 99.9%, it's not like you're just going to randomly meet somebody and you'll be like, oh yeah, I have this idea. And they're like, oh, awesome. I want to fund that for you. And I want to, like do all this stuff. Like it takes a lot of hard work and sacrifice and drive to bring your dreams into a reality. So that's awesome that you did that. Because I feel like so many people, like I said, have amazing ideas that are just never going to come true because you have to go all the way for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of those things where I always like think about business because, we were on Shark Tank. So a lot of people reached out and friends of friends and stuff. And, I'm I don't want to say a sucker, but I always take somebody's call because I just remember like me in those first days, just trying to figure out like who can make this for me. And, I just felt like not that nobody helped me, but if somebody could have guided me, it would have been so helpful. So I take everybody's call, and everyone is always saying, I want to launch, but it doesn't feel like the right time or the product's not ready. And I always say, listen, I have 4 kids and there's never a good time to have a baby, right? Like there's never a time in your life where you're like, okay, I've done everything I want to do with my house and I'm in the job I love and we're completely financially secure. And, like there's never a right time. And it's the same with business. And our story, I always share because I say, if I can do it, so can you. So my husband was laid off from his job of 15 years, literally like internship in college, only job he's ever had, the day before my son was born. And then when I was on maternity leave, the startup company that I was with shut their doors. So I too was laid off. Within 2 months, we both lost our job. We had 4 kids, 5 and under. We had just bought our dream house that was like at the absolute top of our budget. So if there was ever a time to not start a business and like just go get a job, it was then. But I told my husband, I said, listen, this is August of 2018. Weighted blankets are super hot. They just came on the market for people who are non-conditioned, like non-medical uses in 2017. And I said, if I don't do this, somebody else will. Because this is such an obvious product and the concept is there. And so the first thing I did actually was I went to get a patent because I was like, there's no way somebody doesn't already have a patent on this. And when I saw it was available, I was like, okay, let's do it. But it's just like our story, we were paying like $10,000 a month in COBRA to just insure our 6 people in our family. And my husband was like, you need to get a job just to get health insurance. And I said, I went so much against him. We were really in opposition at the beginning of our journey. And it was really hard because most of the time you hear like, oh, you have your partner like saying, go live your dream and you can do it. And I didn't have that. He was telling me like, this is silly. It's not going to work. You need a job. We need to make money. Like we're going to lose our house. Like you don't understand the gravity of our situation. Like we might not be able to afford health insurance. And we knew he wasn't going to be able to get a job for probably about 6 months to a year because he is kind of just the job he had. So it was like this super stressful time. But the whole point of me saying that is like, if I can do it from that, like you surely can do it too. Like if you have an idea, go for it.
Yeah. That's so crazy. I feel like you hear those stories too, though. Like when people it's like, you're like, I'm going to lose everything anyway. So yeah, I might as well go for it.
Right.
Yeah. That's so crazy. I mean, obviously your husband is like so excited that you did it.
Well, so, this is so mean. The name of the company is called Dreamland Baby. And he used to tease me and call it Wasteland Baby. Like it was like a waste, like a waste of time. I know. And so it's actually when I share that, I'm like, that's very cruel. But for me, it like fuels my fire. And I remember saying to him, I said, I am going to make more money than you make with this company. And it just like, it fueled me because I was like, oh, you don't think I can? Like, I'm going to do it. Like, so in retrospect, if he had been super supportive, I mean, maybe I'd be in the same spot, but it just, when your back is against the wall and you're about to lose everything, like you make it happen, because there's other times in my life that if I had lost my job and I wanted to start a company, like we would be in a more, comfortable spot where our other house had a very low mortgage, and my husband had a job but it's just, so I think I'm very religious and I believe like everything happens in the way and the time it's supposed to. And so I think it all happened at the right time for me. But again, if I could have interpreted that like, oh, it's not the right time, but like the opportunity was there and I took it.
Yeah. I don't know if I could do it without the support of my partner. I'm like very codependent.
I think, I'm a little bit codependent too, but it was just like, I'll never forget when I applied for Shark Tank and I have a brother who's much younger than me. He is graduating high school. He just graduated high school. And so my brother was over and my husband, and they were kind of like making fun of me because I was like, you guys, I'm going to be on Shark Tank. And they were like, oh my gosh, okay. Like, they're just like, sure, whatever. And just like giving me a hard time. And they still were saying, oh, Wasteland Baby's going to be on Shark Tank. And I'm like, no, I was like, you guys, like, you're gonna want to be there with me when I'm there. And I just had this like supreme confidence. I think it was because everybody thought it was such a good idea. But the tide completely turned when I got the call from Shark Tank and they said, we want you to come on and we want you to pitch the product to the sharks. And then all of a sudden, my husband, who was calling it Wasteland Baby, started telling everyone, oh, he's so proud of me. We're going to go on the show. He came on with me and was like the actor at the beginning. And I'm like, wait a minute. I felt like I was the little red hen where I'm making the bread and I'm asking everybody, will you help? Will you help? And nobody wants to help, but then everybody wants to eat the bread. Mm-hmm. So it's, it's been fun, but honestly, it really did inspire me quite a bit just to have somebody telling me that I couldn't. That fueled me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I feel, again, I don't know. I guess it does depend on who, because I feel like there's people who are like, oh, you can't do that. And I'm like, really? Watch me. And then there's people who are like, you can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, but I think you can. I think anybody can. If you want it bad enough, you can do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So now you guys, you have other products too. It's not just the sleep sacks. You also have like weighted blankets for toddlers, correct?
That's right. Yeah. So when we launched the website in September of 2019, and we launched with only 2 sizes, with a small and medium. And right away, people started asking us, will you make it for my 1-year-old, my 2-year-old, my 3-year-old? And so the weighted blanket was something we had always got requests for. Bringing a new product to market is actually a lot more work than it seems to be. And there's so much to make sure, like the design is right and all the elements are right and sourcing materials. And there's so much that goes into it. So it took me about a year to launch that. But we did launch the very end of 2020. And it's an amazing blanket. We added like a satin trim and we made it a little bit lighter than traditional weighted blankets for kids. So it has some unique features. It has like a cooling side and a really warm side. And I give it to all my friends and like everybody on my team has one. And as adults, we all sleep with it too. Like I'm sitting with it on my lap right now in my office. They're all over my house. All my kids sleep with them. Like people, if I thought people loved the sleep sacks, people love these weighted blankets. Like they are a fan favorite. We have people who buy, 5, 6, 7 of them and like give them as gifts. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So when are you coming out with the adult sleep sack then?
I know everybody asks us that, we're baby focused right now. It might be something in the pipeline, like in a few years, but again, there's so much as you become a bigger company and like the marketing and the strategy and where do you spend your time. So we want to be really, really good at a couple things, then be okay at a lot of things. So we're keeping our focus on that for now.
Mm-hmm. So when did you start? Like when did you have your mother-in-law sew that very first blanket?
That was in August of 2018.
Wow. So this all happened fast.
I think people say, oh, wow, you're this kind of overnight success. But we're going on 3 years and I did not pay myself for 2 years. I did not have childcare for 2 years.
Yeah.
It was 2 years of like grind. And this third year that, okay, yes, I pay myself a salary. It is modest. It's nowhere near what I was making before. And I'm working 12-hour days most days. So running a startup that's successful and, profitable is not for the faint of heart, for sure. It has to be something you love. And I think when I started this, I looked at it as a way, like I remember saying to my husband, oh, I'm going to make more money than you one day. And it was kind of, there was a monetary piece, but very quickly into the business, money cannot be your North Star because it's not motivating enough to get you up day after day. And when a retailer says they don't want your product or an influencer says they don't like it or, and your teeth get kicked in by a customer that says, didn't work, it's horrible, your customer service is bad. when there's always something. And so just doing all that for saying, oh, because I'm going to make money, like it's not enough. You truly need a North Star. And for us here, it's me thinking back to myself in those first 6 months of Luke, my son's life, and how sad I was, and saying, we are preventing that for families, like thousands of families every single month. We are giving them sleep and we're giving them their life back. Because if you are not sleeping, like you can't function in any other area or be successful in any other area of your life. So to know, like just seeing the reviews we get and like the DMs and emails, and like I told you, people call us, they text us, and they say things like, you have changed my life. You have saved my life. You have brought me back to who I was. Like it is the most rewarding. And even if we did all this and like we helped one person a week, I mean, that would be enough to keep me going. But our customers are our North Star, and they're everything. Every change we make, every product we bring out, it's always like for the customers in response to what they want. We have an amazing community.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it is true. Like, although it seems like things happen really fast, like I said at the beginning, like you have to work really, really hard. And I remember learning quite a while ago, I got my certification to do life coaching, and they were talking about new businesses and like starting your own practice or doing a business. And they say it takes on average 2 years to start making money on things you're going to do. And that's, again, like, I feel like why so many people quit along the way, because they might not have 2 years to be able to do it, or not having the childcare or the money and resources, or they have to work and they don't have as many hours to put in. And it is so hard. And it's just so awesome. I love seeing people succeed, like working hard, and then you see their dreams coming to life, and then they're like succeeding, and you're still working so hard in this business to have it continue to grow. And that's so awesome. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much. Honestly, that like, it's so sweet for you to recognize that, because I too am like the biggest cheerleader of I guess everybody, but like specifically women. I just love when women succeed. And, you know, like I said earlier, anyone who wants to like have a chat, I'm like, great, call me. Like we can get on the phone, and like, I'm happy to help you, because, you know, I have figured it out. We still have so much more to figure out, but that's the joy and the fun of a startup. And I think it's for the person who says like, life is a journey and the fun is on en route, not the destination. If I waited for the destination, it would be like, I have a whole team of people. I have my own office. We're like all making tons of money, you know? And like, if I waited to have fun, then I'd be years away. Mm-hmm. So I'm having so much fun in just figuring it out and learning, and like being able to do things like this podcast and connecting with people like yourself. Like I just feel so lucky to be able to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so cool. So how old are your kids now?
So Luke is my baby who I created the product for. So he's 3. And then I have my son is 6, and I have daughters who are 7 and 8.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah. Super fun ages.
Yeah, that is fun. I feel like the 7 and 8-year-old, they're probably like mini helpers, right?
Yes. My kids do so much with the business. When our first 6 months, we shipped out of my house, and bless their little hearts. Like they were so young at the time. I have videos of them, like the packages would come to my house, and we have all the storage in my garage. And I bought these shelves from Home Depot, and they would organize by size on the shelves. And then every day we'd go out to the garage together, and I'd pull the ones that we need, and then I'd put them in stacks, and then they'd put the shipping labels on them, and they'd help me carry them into the car. And then we would drive to UPS at the end of the day, and they'd help me take them out of the car. But they've helped me with like all my product testing. I've come out with a bunch of products that we didn't bring to market because they didn't like them. Mm-hmm. So they help me with that. They're in all my like social media, my TikTok. So it's super fun that I'm able to weave them into areas of the business. And, you know, for my sons, my daughters too, like that they can see their mom, like living her dream, you know, being a CEO. like, I think it just gives them a different perspective that, women can do anything and they can be anything. And you boys, you better encourage your wives and my girls. If you guys want to do that, like, you can too. So I love that they can kind of see me, and I do work from home. I have just a home office. So they see me every day working really hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. And I feel like you see so many more people working from home now too. And it's not easy. Like, people think, oh, you work from home, that must be great. And it's like, yeah, but also when you're working from home, you can't like just focus on the one thing that you need to get done because you have a million distractions going on.
Right. Yeah, no, it's hard. But now that we have childcare and I have help, our nanny, I couldn't do it without her. She's fantastic, especially last year so my kids were kindergarten, first and second grade, and trying to homeschool them. There's no way. Like, that's a full-time job. So my kids were out of school for a full year. From March to March, they were home. So it was definitely, I think we were mostly fighting for the internet because all three were on Zoom. My husband was in our bedroom. I'm in the office. And then my 3-year-old's just kind of running around. But last year was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And I feel like, again, like so many people kind of realized what that home life is like this last year. It's cool that a lot of places like learned that you could work virtually or have the option to work from home, or we don't need everyone to come into the office because they can be productive at home, but it's just like such a different dynamic and works for some people, and other people are like, no, I need to be in the office.
Right. Yep.
I know for me, I have to like go over to my mother-in-law's to podcast and get work done. Because if I'm at home, I'm like, oh, I should probably dust. Oh, I should start prepping dinner. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, yeah. Like, I get so distracted with things I just need to do at home that like I don't actually sit down and get work done.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a little bit of help for sure. So do you have any products in the pipeline that you're coming out with, or just kind of like focusing on what you got going on?
We actually have a bunch of really exciting things coming out the end of this year, just like different prints and some different sizes. And then something completely new that I can't say quite yet.
Ooh, teaser.
But, teaser. But we send out like emails and texts. So anyone who, wants to find out can definitely, when you sign on to our website, there's just a little box that says, and you get a discount too, like $10 off if you sign up. So all our stuff is sent out that way. And we only send one email a week, not too annoying.
That's nice to know. Because we've all been there where you sign up and you're like, why am I getting emailed twice a day now?
I know. Well, we don't have enough products to email people on a lot of stuff, so it's like once a week. And our emails are really cool because a lot of times we're giving like sleep tips and links to blog posts. So we try to make it more like helpful content, right? Like something you want to get and that you'd actually read. And then of course we have like the sales stuff in there too and promotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So where can people follow you and get your product at?
Yeah. So Instagram is the place we are most. It's Dreamland Baby Co. We have just started on TikTok. So if you need a good laugh and to see somebody in their 30s trying to dance and be cool, that's me on there. So follow us on TikTok. And then our website, so dreamlandbabyco.com. And we have an interactive chat box that our customer service team is on all day. So like any questions about the product, sizing, they're totally there to help. But those are all our places.
Awesome. Thank you again. I know you are busy working these 12-hour days. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast, sharing your energy, your passion, and your product with us.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
So check out the weighted blanket. I've seen a lot of the ones for adults too, and I've actually never tried one. But I might look into it. But I also don't have a problem sleeping. Like I pass out within 5 minutes of hitting the sheets. Even when I get up in the middle of the night, I can go back to sleep pretty easily. Unless there is a child attached to my bruised nipple, then it's a little more difficult. But definitely check out Tara's company, Dreamland Baby. Their weighted blankets. It might be something that if you're having a baby soon or you just had one that you can kind of incorporate into your routine. They have the sizes that transition as the kids get older, which is really cool. And it's just also awesome supporting a mom who had an idea and turned it into an invention and started her own company and is growing, which is amazing. I just get really inspired because I feel like you talk to so many people that have ideas and you don't know where to start. And it's just starting, calling people, being like, do you have this product? Do you know anything about this? And trying to figure it all out. And it definitely does take work. So if you have an amazing idea out there, go for it. Start calling people, start putting steps toward your dream, toward your invention, whatever it is. Because you never know what will happen. You could end up on Shark Tank, right? Like Tara did. If you guys didn't listen to last week's episode, we had Kat Zingano on, which was an awesome episode. She was the first mom to fight in the UFC, and just hearing her story and her strength and her motivation for training and why she does it and how, like, as a mom, it's so important for her to do it. And it was something for her to be able to do that makes her a better mom. So I love chatting with her, hearing her story. She's been through so much and she's so freaking strong. And so it's really cool to kind of connect with her and then be able to support her in her fights and be able to follow her and see where her career continues to take her. And yeah, I feel like it's motivating. I've actually been working out the last couple of weeks. I say working out, but it's actually just moving my body. I'm trying to just move my body every single day. So I don't actually have a Peloton bike. My mother-in-law does. So I used to go over there and ride, but it's hard with Jovi's nap schedule and, Jovi's into everything now. Like I used to be able to just put her in a high chair and give her some snacks. And now she just wants to get into everything. So I've been actually doing the Peloton walks outside, sometimes like a walk jog, like for 20, 30 minutes a day. And it's just been so nice to get out in the morning, get fresh air, for us to just kind of greet the day that way, spend time together. I take her and the dog out. And there's a lot of studies on getting fresh air and sunlight in the morning and how it helps regulate your hormones. It helps with your circadian rhythm. There's so many benefits to getting outside every day. And I've struggled with this so much since having her. It's like, I'm going to get out this morning and I'm going to get fresh air. And then I just wouldn't. The days are busy. It's like you make breakfast, you clean up breakfast, you change a diaper, you get ready for the day, and then something happens or the baby's being fussy and it's just always something. And I'm like, well, now it's her nap time. So I'm just going to wait. And now it's too hot out. And so it's felt really good to just make it a priority every single morning before it gets too hot to get outside, get fresh air, and to go on those walks. Because then at least I feel like, okay, I did that for the day. Wake up, make my bed, go for a walk. And like I said, it's not for me about working out. It's just moving my body in a way that feels good. And doing a walk or a walk jog feels good. And then afterwards I might do like a stretching video or like a body weight video, but not always. And I'm just honestly proud of myself for doing like a 20, 30-minute walk every morning because it's something and moving your body is something. And I think that we need to stress more the importance of that than of working out. I feel like if you are just moving your body every day in a way that feels good for you, even just a few minutes a day, that can start making such big changes. And it's not about goal weights and it's not about sizes because everybody really is built differently. And there was actually an interesting study that came out recently that said people who are quote unquote overweight, that a large percentage of them are metabolically healthy. So people carry weight differently. People have different shapes and sizes for their bodies. And I think if you are fueling your body in a way that feels great, if you're just moving your body in a way that feels good to you, that's what's important. And that's what we need to encourage parents to do, because telling them, oh, you're 6 weeks postpartum now, start working out again. they might not be there, and that kind of guilt or shame or comparison comes in, and that's not right. Like I was a part of that. I didn't feel like working out until I was like 6 months postpartum. And then I started working out for like a month, and then I stopped again. And it wasn't just until the last couple of weeks where I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel like I can get back into it. I'm starting to feel like I'm getting a handle on my schedule as a mom, on work and motherhood, and trying to figure out how to take care of me as well. And it took me almost 10 months. So some people it can be longer, some people it can be shorter, but just know that if you're struggling to try to move your body, you're not alone. And even just doing something for 10 minutes a day, whether it's stretching or walking or dancing, putting on some of your favorite music, is just so good for you energetically and spiritually and mentally and physically. So you're not alone. Just sharing that I'm in it too. So, yeah, if you guys are listening, do not forget to subscribe to the podcast, to rate the podcast, leave us a great review. Let me know what episodes you've loved. Reach out to me. Let me know what guests you want to hear, and look out for all the changes that are coming, and stay up to date by staying subscribed to the podcast. All right. Love you guys. We'll talk to you next week.
If you want to be the most interesting person at the cocktail party, well, hop on over and listen to the Brain Candy podcast.
Our award-winning content will have you laughing while you're learning.
We read all the best articles, books, and studies, and keep up with new TV shows, documentaries, and pop culture. And then we cram it all into 2 shows a week.
Conspiracy theories, cannibal rabbits, unsolved mysteries, the history of the Walkman. There's something for everyone.
The Brain Candy podcast. Find our link in the show notes.
Or simply search for the Brain Candy podcast on your podcast